What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to Total Chiefs, your home for all things red and gold. Today's show is loaded. We're talking underrated defensive glue guys, blockbuster trade rumors, potential star power at wide receiver, and draft moves that could shape the future. But we're kicking it off with a guy who doesn't get enough love. Let's talk about Brian Cook. Now, look, he's not the flashiest name on the roster. You're not seeing him on highlight reels every Sunday night. But this dude, he's becoming a rock in the secondary. In 2024, he quietly started all 17 games, racked up 78 tackles, 5 pass breakups, and 2 picks. No drama, no nonsense. Just consistent, tough football. And now, with Justin Reed gone to New Orleans, Brian Cook becomes the vet in that DB room. That's a big deal with all the moving parts on defense. In a league where players rotate faster than TikTok trends, Cook gives the Chiefs something rare: reliability. He knows Spag's system. He executes. He stays healthy. And most importantly, he doesn't break the bank. So here's the question: should the Chiefs bring him back after this season? Drop your vote in the comments. Type yes if you re-sign Brian Cook. Type no if you think it's time to move on. And while you're down there, do you see Cook as a long-term starter? Or is KC better off exploring the draft or free agency at safety? Let's hear it. Chiefs Kingdom. All right, we've got to talk about this. Tyreek Hill. Just saying his name sends a jolt through Arrowhead. Jet sweeps. D-bombs. That iconic peace sign on the way to 6. Tyreek was the spark plug of the Mahomes era. But now, he's in Miami. And word on the street is, he's not loving it. Reports say he's frustrated, and the rumor mill is heating up. So, could Tyreek Hill actually come back to Kansas City? Let's break it down. The money? His base salary this year is about $10 million. Pricey, but not out of reach. And here's the kicker: zero guaranteed money after this season. That gives Brett Veach a ton of flexibility to rework something team-friendly. And if anyone can pull off cap magic, it's Veach. He made Chris Jones and Mahomes fit. If Tyreek wants to come home, there's a way to make it happen. But the real hurdle? Miami. AFC contenders don't love the idea of making the Chiefs stronger. Why would the Dolphins help out the team that keeps crushing playoff dreams? Now it's your turn. Would you welcome Tyreek back? Type yes if you'd bring him home. Type no if you think we've moved on. Bonus question: what would a Tyreek reunion actually look like in today's offense? How would it change the way Mahomes attacks defenses? Let's hear your vision. Now let's shift gears to the biggest defensive name in the rumor mill, Micah Parsons. This dude is a straight-up nightmare for quarterbacks. Double-digit sacks every year, elite burst, and he plays like he's shot out of a cannon. Put him in Spag's system, and you're looking at pure chaos for opposing offenses. But here's the catch: the cost. We're talking a first-round pick, maybe more, plus a mega contract. We're talking record-setting defender money. And look, I get it, we're in win-now mode. But Veach has always built complete rosters, not star-studded top-heavy teams. So ask yourself, is Parsons worth sacrificing cap space and draft picks? What happens when it's time to pay guys like Nick Bolton or Creed Humphrey? This defense thrives on balance. Drop a superstar in, and you risk shifting the whole equation. So what's the move, Kingdom? Type T for trade or P for pass. And let me know, how would you build the ideal Chiefs defense? Would Micah be part of it, or would you spread that cash around? All right, let's talk risk versus reward. George Pickens. On talent alone, this guy is electric. Big plays. Physical. Youth. The kind of W Mahomes could absolutely cook with. But the red flags are there. Sideline blow-ups. Cryptic tweets. Locker room tension. Around the league, he's being called a diva. And let's be honest, the Steelers know how to scout receivers. When they move on from a guy, it usually means something. Just look at Antonio Brown, JuJu, Claypool, Deontay Johnson. They all fell off fast after leaving Pittsburgh. So yeah, the ceiling is high, but so is the risk. You're not just betting on talent. You're betting on fit, maturity, and a long-term investment. So what would you do? Type Y for yes or N for no. Would you trade for George Pickens? Is he worth the potential drama to add a dynamic playmaker for Mahomes? Or is this gamble just too risky in a championship window? Let's finish strong by hitting the trenches, because that's where games are really won. Let's talk Wanya Morris. We saw flashes from him last year, and the Chiefs clearly believe in his upside. The real question, is he the future at left tackle, or will he eventually take over at right when Jawan Taylor's deal runs its course? If Veach and Andy Reid trust Morris on Mahomes' blind side, that changes the whole draft strategy. But if they're not sold, expect KC to target offensive line early, maybe even trade up. One name to watch: Charles Grant from William and Mary. Raw, but a big body, 6'4", 300 pounds, and scouts say he's got the hands and movement to develop fast. Exactly the kind of pick Veach loves: low profile, high ceiling, cheap price tag. And don't forget, Veach lives for draft chaos. If the board doesn't fall his way, he'll move up or trade down without hesitation. So what should the Chiefs prioritize in the draft? Vote in the comments. Type OL for offensive line help or WR for more weapons. That's gonna do it for today's breakdown. If you're fired up for the draft, blockbuster trades, and everything going on in Chiefs Kingdom, make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, and turn those notifications on so you don't miss our next live mock draft session. We'll be answering your questions in real time. Thanks for riding with us on Total Chiefs. We'll see you in the next one.